Hey guys, and welcome to this edition of Scruff's Garage. So today in the garage, I have my wife's 2015 Acura RDX, and she has a low beam headlight bulb out on the passenger side. The headlights on this vehicle have always been bad. She's got the standard halogens. There was an optional HID depending on the trim package, but for this vehicle, it's the halogen. So if you have HIDs, there could be some differences in replacing the bulb, so keep that in mind. But I decided I'm going to at least give a try to these LED replacement H11 bulbs. These are just a set that I got off of Amazon. They had good reviews. They are a fanless type, so they should be pretty quiet. No external ballast or anything like that. So I'm going to give these a try and see how they turn out. Obviously this bulb was already blown, so I can't give you a complete before and after, but what I may do is install this one and then I'll wait till the evening before I install that one, so you see the one new bulb and one of the old bulbs, and at least give you a basic comparison between the LED and the stock halogen. Hopefully these are better. Honestly, almost anything would be an improvement. Getting to the bulb isn't too terrible, at least on the passenger side, but I'll just show you the basics so you know what you're looking at, because it's a little hard to see, and sometimes just knowing how the connectors come apart makes all the difference. So I'll show you that. Okay, so let's see if I can do this while holding the camera. So obviously I'm replacing the low beam bulb, so keep that in mind. There's a high beam and a low beam. So the low beam is accessed over here. You probably can't see that very well on the camera, but you'll see it when you're looking at the vehicle. So there's an electrical connector, this, that plugs into the back of this cap. This cap screws into the back of the headlight housing. You see there's a rubber grommet on it. Keeps moisture from getting into the headlight housing. So step one is to disconnect the electrical connector that goes there. That connector comes apart. If I can spin this so that you can see it. So you press down on the bottom of that tab, and I found it easier to use this to do it two-handed. Right, so you press in on that and then pull down on the connector, and that gets it off of that notch there. Then it'll be very tight, but you need to rotate this counterclockwise, and actually you only have to rotate it just a little bit to get it over that notch, but rotate this counterclockwise. It will be very tight. This hasn't been rotated a long time, and there's that rubber grommet there that doesn't slide very easily, but stick with it. Just get it to rotate a little bit, and then you can just wiggle this out. It will only come out just a little bit, as this connector is still plugged in to the headlight bulb that's still in the housing. Again, this connector, you just kind of lift that little tab there and pull down on it, and that will disconnect this, and then you can take this whole housing piece out. Then to remove the bulb itself from the housing, you just give it a slight counterclockwise twist again, and you'll feel it. It just twists just a little bit, and then you can pull the bulb out. So not too terribly difficult to get the bulb out. Getting this to rotate will be the hardest part. Two other talking points. Number one, especially when you're handling halogen or HID bulbs, make sure you wear gloves and don't touch the glass portion of it. The oils from your fingers will deposit on the glass, and then when it gets super hot, it can damage the bulb. The other thing is, you're comparing bulbs, what you want is that light source where the filament is to be the same if you're going to an LED, because that's where the light is emanating from, and then it reflects in the headlight housing. And changing where that light source is emanating from, if it's too high or too low, it doesn't reflect properly, and you're not going to get a good dispersion of light. So as you're comparing bulbs, I don't know how well you can see that, but these two align very nicely. The height of that filament versus where the diodes are here on this LED line up very nicely. So the same depth into the headlight housing, these two should be pretty much the same. So that should help give a good dispersion of light when this is installed. All right, I'm going to install this bulb. Keep in mind there are 3 tabs on this, so it will only install in one direction, so you can't get it wrong. All right, so the bulb was installed, the electrical connector to the cap is done. So now we need to put the cap back in place. All right, so we got a working passenger side headlight bulb again, so that's good news. And I don't know how well you can tell the brightness difference on the camera, but even just standing here, it's pretty significant. So next I'll shoot this when the sun goes down, and we'll see if we can demonstrate the brightness difference and how well the LED headlight disperses the brightness. I don't know if you can see the difference. Let me see if I can walk out in front of the car and see. So you can see the color temperature difference. The new bulb that would be on your left, that's the passenger side, is a much whiter light, kind of traditional of LEDs. And then the one on the right, the driver's side, is the old halogen. So I'm excited about the difference. Excited to get both of them in and see how that looks. Okay, so I just finished the driver's side as well. Honestly, even though the driver's side, you have a little bit less access room because of there's a negative battery cable in the way. Once you know how the connectors come apart, it's super easy to do. Honestly, start to finish on the driver's side, I was probably done in less than 2 minutes. So just knowing how stuff comes apart makes all the difference. So far, I'm really happy with the LED light bulbs. I'll update this video if they fail early or for some reason I'm unhappy with them, but at the moment I like the direction we're headed with these. Honestly, anything would be better than the stock halogens. I've cleaned these headlight housings before, even though they're starting to get hazy. Yet again, I'm sure replacing the housings themselves would help a little bit too. But so far, I'm happy with the bulb. I had to replace the passenger side anyway, so I like the direction that this is going. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. I'll help in any way that I can. As always, thanks for tuning in to this edition of Scuff's Garage. I'll see you next time.